So let's get settled in. And as you're settling in, I just would like to talk to you about some of the things I've been thinking. And one of them is I came up with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. And someone once asked him, "How can you be so kind to a racist?" And he answered, "Because we're all the same inside. He just doesn't know it." And I love that because it makes you think about when you come across someone who has hatred in their heart, that you can look at them with compassion, as he did, just knowing that they just don't know. They just don't know it. But I think what he was also talking about is we're all the same inside, meaning we're also all connected. Every one of us is part of a bigger whole. We are one, and that's everybody. So there are going to be people you wouldn't wish weren't in that circle, but we're all in it. And we need to move through it with compassion. We need to love this connection that we have with every living being. And so let's begin by coming inside, and let's keep these thoughts in mind as we go through our practice. Focus on your breath. Close your eyes. Take a deep inhale, fill your lungs to capacity, maybe a little more, and then very slowly, deliberately lengthen your breath. Make it slow, very long. It's the part of your breath that brings you to total relaxation. You can bring your hands to your thighs, to wherever they are most comfortable. Sukhasana is the name of the pose with our in cross legs. And sukha means easy or happy, easy seat, easy pose. Keep deepening your breath and lengthening your exhale. Think about breathing in the sound of Om, that connection to the universe that connects us to everyone else. Inhale and slowly exhale. Let go of everything that gets in the way. Let go. After your next exhale, return to your natural rhythm of breathing. And bring your hands alongside your hips. We're going to start with a twist. So bring your right hand to your left knee, your left arm back behind you, supporting your spine, your Tadasana spine, your mountain spine. You're looking over your left shoulder. In yoga, when we look behind us in poses like this, it is symbolic of looking at the past. Taking only with you from the past lessons you've learned, arms alongside your ears, twist back to center. Bring your hands down by your side. Our goal is to be in the present. Yeah, right here, right now. Left hand on right knee. Turn to look over your right shoulder. And remember, as always, when you inhale, you're lengthening your spine. And after your exhale, when you're empty of breath, you twist a little bit more. Looking at the past now, we can decide that we no longer need the past. It's behind us. Twist back to center, arms alongside your ears. To come back into the present, bring your hands together overhead and down to your heart. Bring your arms alongside your hips. Walk your left hand away, bend your left elbow, lateral stretch to the left. Reach with your fingers and open your heart. So deliberately, and you can use your hand that's on the floor to help you turn your heart up to the sky. Inhale to center. Exhale, other side. Same thing on this side. You're bending your elbow to drop your shoulder away from your ear. You're stretching your left arm to lengthen your whole left side body. Feel the stretch. Open your heart. Open your heart up. Bring both arms to center, both alongside your hip. Send your legs out in front of you. Bring your hands alongside your hips. We're coming to Dandasana, and in Dandasana, our fingers are pointing forward, elbows back behind us. Feet are flexed, legs are engaged. All your leg muscles are engaged. Your belly is coming toward your spine to support your Tadasana spine, your mountain spine, crown of your head reaching up towards the heavens, connected to the earth at your hips. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, bring a prayer to your heart. Inhale, gather. Exhale, to your heart. Inhale. Long, straight spine. Long, straight, reach tall, reach very tall. Inhale, and then on an exhale, you're going to hinge from your hip sockets. Bring your left hand to your right foot. Send your right hand back behind you. Find your hand. Look for it. If you can't reach your foot, your ankle is fine. Follow your right hand as it reaches up for the sky, as it comes down, crosses your left hand to take your other foot or ankle or calf. You're going to look forward. Your arms are straight. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, bend your elbows and fold. Inhale and exhale on the fold. Inhale, straighten your arms, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Release your left arm, send it back behind you. Look for your left hand. Follow it as it reaches up for the sky. Maybe it pauses there for a moment. Inhale, exhale. Cross your wrists, come down over your legs. I'm going to do this again. Inhale, straight arms. Look forward. Exhale, bend your elbows. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, release your arms, come up to sit, bring your arms overhead, your prayer to your heart. Excellent. Okay. Step your feet onto the mat. Make them as wide as your mat. And your hands are back behind your hips for support. Take a deep inhale, and on an exhale, you'll send your knees to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, send them to the left. You'll come down as far as your body allows you to, so any amount is good. And go back and forth a couple more times. And then the next time you're pointing to the left, you're going to bring your hand onto your right hip. Using your left hand for support, you're going to do a little rock and roll with your right hip. So you're lifting your hip up, you're loosening up, you're working with your glutes, your hip flexor. Can't think of the word. Come down and come back to center. To the right. Left hand on left hip, and let's do that again. And then release it. Come back to center. Send your legs out in front of you again. Bring the soles of your feet together. Bring your hands on your shins. You're going to inhale and you're going to exhale, curl your spine back behind you, cat spine. Inhale, come forward to dog. Exhale to cat. Inhale, forward. Exhale, cat. Inhale, come back up to neutral. So we're going to make a six-pointed star. So make sure your feet are enough away from you. And I'm going to move back, make sure you can see my feet. So that they're enough away from you so you have diamond-shaped legs. And you can put one forearm over the other. Shoulder height. Nice, long, straight back. You're going to inhale, and on an exhale, you'll forget you're hinging from your hip socket. So inhale, exhale, forward just a little bit. Inhale, exhale, forward just a little bit more. Inhale, exhale, your full range, as far forward as you can comfortably go. So it'll be different for everybody. Inhale and then exhale, bring your forearms as far down as they can comfortably come. Maybe they'll come over your ankles, your shins. Maybe they'll be suspended in air. It doesn't matter. What you are creating here, elbow to hip, is one triangle. Feet to knees is the other triangle, six-pointed star. Tadasana. On an inhale, lift your arms back up and release them. Shake out your legs. Shake them out, rotate them, point and flex your feet. And then come back into those Tadasana legs. So we're going to do that again, only a little differently. You're going to bring your hands forward outside your shins, Place them on the mat. Your fingertips may only come. And again, this will work differently for everybody. So you'll go as far as you can go. So you're going to walk your fingers forward and your flat back is coming down too. Some of you may be able to hook your elbows over your shins and use that leverage of your elbows on your shins to come over your feet as much as possible. It might be a ½ inch. You might go all the way down to your feet. Don't push your feet to your face. You want to make it your upper body that's working. On an inhale, you're going to come all the way back up. We're going to do this 2 more times, and we're going to put a little bit more intensity with each time. So you can stay right here, or you can bring your feet in a little bit closer. So you bring your feet in just a little bit closer. Nice long back. Same thing, you're walking your hands in front of your shins. You're going to hook your elbows outside your shins. Your hands may be in prayer in front of your feet, wherever you can reach. You're going to inhale, and then on an exhale, fold over your triangle. Notice where you feel this. Where do you feel it? Your thigh muscles, yeah, your adductors, probably your inner thigh muscles. And slowly unfold. Okay, one last time. You're going to bring your heels to your groin, if that's possible for you. That may not be something you choose to do. So your knees will be a little bit away from the floor, and maybe you'll butterfly them first for a moment, just flap those wings. And then once again, bring your hands. This is called Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. So again, hook your elbows outside your shin. Again, you may have your legs very farther away. And you're going to do the same thing. In this one, it may not be possible to come all the way to your feet. Or maybe it will be. Not for me. Inhale and exhale, come down more. Inhale and exhale, come down a little bit more. Feeling new muscles? Yeah. And then slowly unfold. Okay, send your legs out in front of you and shake them out again. All right, good. Okay. So now we are going to come to a child's pose. So come to the back of your mat so that your toes are at the back of your mat. And bring your hips down as far as you comfortably can. Again, your knees can be very wide apart. Some of you may prefer that. And the reason is that you can get yourself farther to the mat inside with your legs far apart. That's a more restorative child's pose. With your knees closer together, you're using your thighs as a shelf for a different variation of Balasana, child's pose. Find your sweet spot. Find your perfect child. Send your arms overhead, stretched out in front of you. Look between your hands. Okay, and reach a little bit more with your hands. Let your hips come up. And then you're going to lift your hips as you walk your hands maybe even a little bit farther away. And send your heart in between your arms and lengthen your legs behind you. so that you're in an up dog variation. So you're using your core to prevent you from sagging and shrugging your shoulders. You're pushing into the mat with your hands. You're going to inhale, and then on an exhale, send your hips to your heels. Keep your hands where they are. So your hips may not go so far back. Inhale forward. Now you can stay right here, or you can make sure your wrists are under your shoulders. Press your feet into the mat. Lift your knees away from the mat for an up dog. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. If you have a dog, you know he goes from a down dog directly to an up dog, and we're going to try that. Okay, hips to your heels. Come back up, coming through table, going forward again, just where you were. Turn under your toes, downward facing dog. Okay, so in down dog, your hips are at a bit of a diagonal up towards the ceiling. Your heels are coming towards the mat, your chest towards your thighs. Your arms are reaching straight out. Your hands are pushing the mat away from you. Now we're going to try to come right into an up dog. So you can stay on the balls of your feet, or you can try and flip over your toes. So we'll do it two ways, and you can repeat the first one, your choice on the second option. So let's do it both ways. So forward to an up dog, that means you're going to come all the way forward, keep on the balls of your feet to come between, you might even come on your tiptoes a little bit, to bring your chest between your arms. Back to down dog. Okay, and at any time, if you're tired or anything, please come into a child's pose, your knees to the mat and a child's pose. Okay, here we go, flipping over our toes. Come forward. You're bringing your heart between your arms. You're coming all the way forward and over your toes. Whoa. Back to down dog. Bring your knees to the mat. Bring your hips to your heels and take a breath or two. Send your arms straight out overhead. And this time you're going to come up to table, so your hands won't be so far away. You want to make sure that your wrists are under your shoulders, or if you have wrist issues, you could step your hand a little farther away, or you can use your mat to help mitigate the angle that your ankle takes. Okay. So let's do a couple cats and dogs first from this table. So on an exhale, you're going to actually curl your spine towards the mat, making the letter U. And you're going to arch to the ceiling, making a beautiful big archway, an entrance. And continue at your own pace with these cats and dogs. After your next cat, when you're in your next cat pause, and walk yourself to the top of your mat, to the front of your mat, so that you have a lot of mat behind you. Get into your table. And I forgot to mention before, in your table, your arms are rotated from the shoulder socket. Your arms are rotated so that the crease of your elbow is moving towards your index finger. Send your right leg back behind you on the ball of your foot. Swivel your right foot so that the sole of your right foot is on the mat. Your toes are pointing to the long edge of your mat, and you're going to fan open. You're going to send your right arm alongside your right ear and your toes in the opposite direction for a full, and open up your heart, just like we did when we were earlier, when we were seated. So open up your heart. And now we're going to try one more thing, so you can stay right here, come into child's pose, or you're going to try a little crescent. And the little crescent means you lift your hip a little bit and send your fingers towards the mat, over your head. And lift your hips. You're making a crescent shape. Then bring your hand back down. Bring your knee back down, and we'll do that on the other side. Send your left leg back behind you. Swivel onto the sole of your left foot, your toes pointing to the long edge of the mat, and fan open. Arm alongside your ear, toes pointing away from you for a long, open up your heart again, for a long side, full side body stretch from toes to fingertips. And now here we go. You might wish to try the crescent. So the crescent, your hips raise up and your arm arches towards the mat to make a crescent shape. And then bring your hand down, bring your knee down, bring your hips to your heels. Your arms are stretched out overhead. Look between your hands, lift your hips, turn under your toes, downward facing dog. Okay, so we're going to move from down dog to plank. Phalakasana from Ardha Mukha Svanasana. So we're in Ardha Mukha Svanasana, upward, downward facing dog. We're going to come forward, shoulders over wrists, heels moving back behind you. Nice long plank, like a plank of wood. From the crown of your head to your heels, long straight line. Use your core muscles to keep you from sagging towards the mat. We don't want this. We want nice, long, straight plank. Planks don't sag. All right, back to down dog. You're going to lift your leg all the way up to the sky, or as far as it goes. It might be a couple of inches. All right, it might be all the way up. And you're going to send it over towards the left. And as you bring it down, you're going to land your toes on your heel. Now, some of you may just come back to a plain down dog. That's fine. And then bring your knees to the mat and your hips to your heels. Otherwise, you can come forward with me to a three-limbed plank. Exhale to dog. Inhale. Plank, Phalakasana. Exhale, dog, and uncross your leg. Right, once again, come to a dog, then come back to your knees to the mat and come to child's pose here. If this is not something that works for you, send your left leg as high up as you can. Move it a little bit towards the right. Let your toes land on your heel of your right foot. Bring your heel towards the mat. Come forward in a three-limbed plank. Exhale to dog. Three-limbed plank. Once more. Dog. Plank. Dog. Uncross. Bring your knees to the mat. And everybody, child's pose. Come back up on your hands and knees. We're going to do a little bit of a core workout. So again, go as far as you are comfortable. So come into your table. Make sure, again, your wrists under your shoulders. Your right leg back behind you. Okay. You're going to lift it up hip high. You're going to cross it over your left foot. You're going to look over your left shoulder to find your foot. And then you're going to bring your right knee down to the mat right where it is. And then you're going to walk your hands under your shoulders. Walk them back. You can stay right here in this lovely little twisty thing, or you can bend your right knee, reach with your left hand for your right foot, and open to the left. Bring your foot as close to your buttock as possible. You're going to release your foot, uncross your leg, step it back over, and we'll do that on the other side. Send your left leg back behind you, lift it up hip high, cross it over your right. You're on the ball of your left foot. You're looking over your right shoulder for your left foot. Bring your left knee to the mat. Walk your hands under your shoulders. Makes you not only does it help with your balance, but it also brings you closer to your left foot, a knee that you're going to bend and grab hold of and bring as close as you comfortably can toward your buttock as you open up. Release it, bring your hand down, uncross, and come back to table. Send your right leg back behind you. Lift it up hip high. Use your left forearm to make sure your hips are even. Send your left arm alongside your left ear. You don't have to do that if that doesn't work for you, or you can send it across. Now you can stay right here, keep your, bring your hand down, bring your leg down, or you can bend your knee, bend your elbow, and bring your elbow towards your waist and your knee towards your nose. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, curl. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, curl. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, curl. Inhale, lengthen, bring your hand down, bring your knee down. Send your left leg back behind you. Lift it up hip high. Use your right forearm to level those hips off. Send your right arm alongside your right ear. Once again, remember, you can always bring that hand back down. You can always bring your foot to the mat. If your leg is lifted and your arm is alongside your ear, you're going to bend your elbow, bend your knee, and curl. Inhale. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl. Once more. And then bring your hand down, bring your knee down, and bring your hips to your heels. And take a few breaths in child's pose. Slide your hands towards your knees as you come up to sit on your heels. And then come up onto your knees. You're going to step your right foot in front of you. Now, if you have a block or something to support you, you can make it easier by using that block to help you get your foot forward. You're going to walk your foot away from you. Bring the heels of your hands to your back waist. Your elbows moving toward each other. You're going to inhale, you're going to exhale forward. Inhale, straighten your leg. Exhale, come forward. Any amount. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, come forward. Again, any amount is good. Once more. And from here, you can bring your hands inside to step your leg back. And that will help. All right. Left leg comes forward. Again, use your block or something else you may have handy. That will work. Walk your foot away, back of your hands to your back waist. Inhale, exhale, slide your hips forward. Inhale, straighten your leg. Exhale, slide. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Bring your arms inside your leg, send your left leg back, and come back up to stand on your knees. Okay. All right, so we're going to do just one more thing here on our knees. Bring your arms over alongside your ears. Bring your hands together in a prayer, then interlace your fingers, keeping your index fingers in a steeple position up towards the sky. You're going to send your heart forward. Keep your arms alongside your ears so that when you send your heart forward and your head goes back, your arms go with it, your pelvis stays over your knees. A variation of Ustrasana, the camel pose. Release your arms, send them back behind you, interlace your fingers, and now maybe you can deepen your back bend a little bit more. Maybe not. It's okay. I'm in the not category right now. So come back up to a straight back. So what we're going to do, if you did a very deep back bend, we're going to go in the opposite direction, coming in to a table and wagging your tail. And then coming to a cat. And then coming to neutral, bringing your hands to your knees, coming up onto your knees again. And then you're going to step on one foot and the other to come up to stand. Take your time getting up. Okay. So you should be all nice and limber now for our standing poses. Before we get to them, though, we're going to do a few poses that are individually, solo, just the pose, and then we're going to string them together in a sequence. I have a block. This is a skinny kind of block, but you can use a book, you can use a pillow, you can use whatever you like, and place it outside your right foot. You're going to bend your left knee and step across your right foot to put your toes on that block. You're going to bend both knees, squatting down a little bit. But any amount, again, is good. Send your arms in front of you. And you're going to cross left over right. And you may just put the backs of your hands together, or you may wrap your hands around in your eagle. Either eagle is fine. Not every eagle is exactly the same. And you're going to bend down, bend all the way down, bend down, squat, squat. See that little mouse? It looks very tasty. And you're going to grab hold of it and then fly away. Okay, great. So move the block to the other side. So there's another way you can do this, and I will do that for you without the block. But use the block if that's better for you, or a book or a pillow or whatever you happen to have. Another way you can do this is you're going to sit in your chair, your legs together. So you're going to cross your leg over the other. And you can just let your leg hang, or you can bring your tiptoes to the mat or the ball of your foot and squat down. And this time it's right over left. It's always the opposite of the leg that's on top. And come to your eagle. Squat down, all the way down. Go get some mid-morning snack, grab it and fly away with it. Excellent. All right. So the block is very helpful, but again, keeping the ball of your foot as you squat down works too. If eagle is something that's easy in your practice, you can even wrap your foot around your calf. So the higher you cross your leg, the easier it is to wrap. Okay? All right then. So that's eagle. And then we're going to do tree. And with tree, you're going to come on the ball of your left foot. Send your left foot out to the side. And then place your heel against your ankle. Send your arms up overhead to grow your branches. Look forward. Find a dristi, a focal point. It's a dristi. And find that focal point across the room, wherever you are, to help you with your balance. And keep your eye on it as you bring your foot to your calf. Or not. You might want to bring it all the way up to your inner thigh, or not. Or not. Okay. And bring it down. So let's try the other side. On the ball of your foot, open your leg out to the side. Bring your heel next to your ankle. Let's come to a prayer. And as you grow your branches, and they can be any shape at all, you'll lift your foot and up to your calf. Let your leaves blow in the wind, whatever you like. Keep your eye on that dristi. And bring it down. Okay, very good. So those are two. Another one, another pose that we might look at in this sequence is the eagle. We want to get this eagle to fly away. So we're going to have this eagle, and the eagle is going to come into a tree and then lift its leg off the tree and fly away. Now, you can do every one of these poses separately as we go through this. You can choose not to do one of them, not to do all of them. So we'll go slowly so that you can do them separately, okay? But we're going to start in Tadasana, in mountain. Shoulders over hips, hips over ankles. Your feet are planted, rooted into the earth, crown of your head reaching for the heavens, your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Let your arms fall by your side. Beautiful mountain, Tadasana. Bring your belly towards your spine to help lift your ribs north of your pelvis, making your spine longer and stronger. From Tadasana, you're going to lift your hands, gather up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana, and that simply means an upward arms from your tree, Urdhva Hastasana. You're going to bend your knees deeply, sending your hips back a little bit to come into your chair. Come into your chair first. Bring your feet together as close as they comfortably can come. Your arms straight out in front of you. You're going to cross, and if you want to do this solo, you might, and you want to use your block, you can get that now and put it outside your left foot. Otherwise, cross your right over your left. Once again, you can keep your toes on the mat. Come to eagle arms. It would be left over right. Squat down. Squat down as far as you can go. And now you're going to open those wings and fly into your tree. Beautiful tree. But you're going to look up at the sky, maybe not. Just look at your drishti. And you're going to decide it's time to fly away. You're going to lift your right foot, send it back behind you, and fly away. Your front leg is bent. And then bring your foot back down. Okay, are we good? Right. All right, other side. Urdhva Hastasana. Again, mountain, just with arms up. Some people just call this high mountain. Bend at the knees. Sit in your chair. Arms straight out in front of you. This time, left over right. Right over left. Come to your eagle, squatting, looking down. And then flying away into a tree. And then deciding, lifting his leg off the branch and flying away. And bring your foot back down. Okay. All right, so all my eagle yogis, you can make your way down to the mat. And come on to your back in any way you choose. You can do it the hard way, which is the best way, you know, counting to 20, using your core, or you can just come down onto the mat. Bring the soles of your feet to the mat. Step your hips closer to your heels to flatten your lower back. You're going to bring your knees into your chest. Place one hand on each knee. And bring your knees as close as is comfortable. And you're going to send your right knee forward, straightening your right arm. And then you're going to bring it back and send your left knee. And you're going to go back and forth, one to the other. And this is a workout for your lower back, and it's good. It softens it up. And now bring both knees into your chest, and you'll notice something about your lower back when you do it with two legs. So right now, with your knees in your chest, your lower back is flat on the mat. And when you send your knees away, you have that arch, right? So when you do one and then the other, it's like you're massaging your back. So bring both legs in. This time you're going to open your knees out to the side. You're going to reach inside your legs and reach for your ankles or the outside of your feet. Your ankles are perfectly fine. And you're going to unbend your right leg so that your the sole of your right foot is pointing towards the ceiling. So your leg is still bent deeply, right? And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So what we have here is happy baby, right? So we haven't done this in a while. So what do babies do when they're in their crib and they're discovering their feet? They roll from side to side, lengthen one leg and then the other. Oh, wow, look at those feet. Cool. And go back and forth. And they're also discovering their hips. Yeah, wow. And then bring them back together. Right. And then open one leg completely, stretching it out to the side, and open the other completely, taking hold of your big toe or your ankles, or your calves, whatever you reach comfortably. And just lift your shoulders and your head away from the mat, and then bring it back down. So you'll inhale and then exhale, lift shoulders and head. Inhale back down to the mat. All right, so this next one is not for the faint of heart, so you may choose not to do it. You can bring your legs together and then bend your knees and bring them to the mat, or your legs are open and bring your arms out to the side. Send your legs forward, 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 down towards the mat. Bring them together and bring them down. All right? All right, so bring your feet flat. If you have a block or a pillow, take hold of it, lift your hips, slide your block or pillow under your sacrum. You want it to be comfortable. And then send your legs up to the sky for a gentle inversion. And you can play with your legs if you like. Yogi's choice. Whatever you like. You can bend your knees, you can send them to the side, you can do anything you like. You can do a little split, sending one leg to the floor and one leg to your nose, and then the other side. Or just let them reach for the sky and be nice and cooling. This is a very cooling pose. And then whenever you are ready, you'll bend your knees, bring your feet to the mat, lift your hips, remove whatever you may have underneath, and come to Shavasana. In Shavasana, your legs are a slight V shape with your feet splayed open to the sides. Your arms are also in that same shape with your palms cupped towards the sky. Feel your whole back body surrendering to gravity from the heels of your feet to the top of your head, the backs of your arms. Om Namah Shivaya, I surrender to transformation and welcome the changes that will lead me to who I am. Begin to reawaken your body, deepen your breath, bringing new life in your body. Roll your head from side to side. Make gentle movements with your hands and your feet. Send your arms overhead, your feet away from you. And then bring your knees into your chest and hug them and roll from side to side. Final massaging of your back. Then release your knees and roll over onto whichever side you prefer to come into a fetal position. And whenever you're ready, come up to sit. And bring your hands to your heart. Let's all remember that we are all connected, that everyone in this universe are part of the greater whole. And with that, let's chant the universal sound of Om. So take a deep breath in. Namaste. Thank you.